Along this lonely road in Wise County is where investigators found Athena Strand's body. The 7-year-old's murder has gripped Texans because what happened to this little girl could have very well happened to anyone's child.
Welcome or welcome back, and thanks for being here. I'm Cassie, and this is A Wicked World. The story I have for you today is about a 7-year-old little girl who one day seemingly vanished out of her own front yard, and a multi-day search ensued before she was finally found. But unfortunately, as everyone had feared, she was no longer alive. This is the story of Athena Strand. Athena Presley Monroe Strand was born on May 23, 2015 in Duncan, Oklahoma, to her parents Jacob Strand and Maitland Gandy. She was a first grader at Paradise Elementary School where she had many friends. Athena was full of joy and happiness, and she loved singing, dancing, horseback riding, doing her makeup, and pretending to be a princess. Her favorite movie was Frozen. She also loved all animals, jewelry, the color pink, and anything sparkly. Athena had 3 sisters, and she loved playing with them anytime that she could. By the time that Athena was 7 years old, her parents were no longer together, and both were remarried. Her mother, Maitland, lived in Comanche, Oklahoma, while her father, Jacob, lived in Paradise, Texas. The girl's mother, Maitland, had full custody of her, but in the fall of 2022, Athena would fly to Texas to spend some time with her father, Jacob, and her stepmother. However, it was during this visit that Athena would suddenly go missing. On Wednesday, November 30th, 2022, around 6:40 p.m., her stepmother, Ashley Strand, called 911. She stated that Athena had disappeared from their home in the 200 block of County Road 3573 in Paradise. Ashley informed authorities that a few hours prior, around 4:15 p.m., the 7-year-old had gotten off the bus after school. A little while later, Ashley and Athena had gotten into a bit of an argument. And it was around 5:45 p.m. that the stepmother had left the little girl in her room to sort through her dirty laundry while she went to make dinner. Now at this time, Athena's room was not inside the main home, but rather it was in a shed that was on the family's property. Apparently, the girl's father, Jacob, was in the process of renovating their main home, so Athena and one of her sisters were staying out in this shed temporarily that had been made up to be like a bedroom. So when Ashley had gone back out to the shed 20 to 30 minutes later to inform her stepdaughter that dinner was ready, she couldn't find her anywhere. Ashley frantically began searching for the 7-year-old, even contacting the family's relatives who lived next door to ask if they'd seen her. They hadn't either, and so she called 911. At the time, Athena's stepmother, Ashley, was the only adult in the home. Her father, Jacob, had actually been headed to South Texas for a deer hunting trip when he got the phone call from Ashley stating that Athena was missing. Almost immediately, law enforcement officers, along with more than 300 volunteers, dog teams, drones, and helicopters with thermal imaging, began looking for Athena, with their search continuing on into the night. However, it was with no success. At first, police believed that maybe Athena had just run away following the fight with her stepmother, and they stated that they had been told by her family that she had done so in the past, something that the 7-year-old's mother, Maitland, denies. She said that her daughter was afraid of the dark and would not have wandered off on her own, meaning that Athena was likely instead abducted right from her driveway, which was only a mere 200 yards away from her home. But since authorities were at this time still under the impression that Athena likely had taken off on her own, they wouldn't issue an Amber Alert for her until the day after she went missing, around 2 p.m. In addition to this theory, many people began to suspect that the little girl's stepmother, Ashley, had something to do with her disappearance, and they quickly began scrutinizing the family online. The search continued on for Athena throughout December 1st and into December 2nd.
Coming up on 24 hours since that young girl's stepmother first reported her missing. You can see right behind me the investigation, the search is still very, very intense. This is just a drop in the ocean. You can see a good number of cars, people out here on the ground. This line of cars, these groups of people, they stretch all the way down this road in several directions. Right here, this is sort of where it starts to taper off, but you can see this is what's considered the command center. And then further back where you're looking, back that way, is Athena's father's home where she was last seen. When I spoke with the sheriff last, I think it's really important, we spoke with him and we said, any working theories right now? He did say from their interviews with the family at the moment, at last check with the sheriff, they do believe that she left the home following a family argument, but there are just so many questions. It's been, good several hours, almost 24, that they simply cannot rule anything out. So they're searching, but they're not happy with the fact that they haven't found anything yet. When I spoke with the sheriff, he said they had no leads, no tips. The dogs they have, the choppers they have, high technology that is supposed to be really helpful in situations like this. And up until this point, it just has not been.
Then, around 5 p.m. on December 2nd, Athena was finally located. She was found near the Trinity River, and sadly, like everyone feared, she was deceased.
Love Paul?
Yeah.
When an autopsy was completed, it was found that Athena had died from blunt force injuries to her head and neck. There was additionally evidence that she had been strangled and smothered. Her manner of death was determined to be homicide. The discovery of Athena's body had come after police had been led there by a 31-year-old man named Tanner Horner. Authorities had brought Tanner in for questioning shortly after they were informed that around the time that Athena disappeared, a FedEx delivery driver had been in the neighborhood, and the truck had dropped off a package at the little girl's home. Tanner had been the one driving that vehicle, as he worked as an independent contractor for a company called Big Topspin, which had been contracted by FedEx. And on board that FedEx truck was a camera. Upon viewing this footage, police saw Tanner carrying 7-year-old Athena on board the vehicle. In the video, you can also see him talking to the young girl. Now, when police brought Tanner in for questioning, he claimed that he had accidentally backed his truck up into Athena, hitting her. But she wasn't seriously injured. He still panicked, though, and he took the 7-year-old onto his truck. Tanner claimed that Athena was talking at this time and even told him her name. Yet for some reason, he then confessed to trying to kill her by breaking her neck. That didn't work though, so instead, he had strangled her in the back of the FedEx truck. This had taken place less than an hour after Tanner had abducted Athena. Once he'd killed her, Tanner had dumped her body in the river near her home. Then he had just carried on living his normal life while Athena's family, friends, and the entire community frantically searched for her. According to Tanner, he had killed the 7-year-old because he was afraid that she was going to tell her father that she had gotten hit by the FedEx truck. I don't know about you, but I'd rather get in trouble for accidentally backing into a child and hurting them only a little bit than killing them. But maybe that's just me. There was also one point, however, that Tanner allegedly told officers that he had done something to Athena because he wanted to see what it was like. Following his admissions, Tanner would lead detectives to 2 separate locations where he claimed he had dumped Athena's body. She wasn't at either, but then he finally told them about the 3rd location, which was at the Trinity River, where she was ultimately found. The 31-year-old was then placed under arrest, and he was charged with capital murder and kidnapping. He was held on a $1.5 million bond. While Tanner had no criminal history, he was far from the kind of person that you would want near a child. A woman named Shay Marie would post to her Facebook account following Athena's death, and she would say, "Tanner Lynn Horner, the man who RAPED'd me at 16, 8 years ago, murdered Athena Strand, a 7-year-old girl. I hope the family gets the justice they deserve. I hope he rots. And I hope everyone who didn't believe me when I've talked about this for 8 effing years does now." This woman, Shay, had also made a previous post to her social media in which she said, "Friendly reminder that Tanner Horner likes to take advantage of drunk 16-year-old girls." Tanner would have been 23 years old around the time of these accusations that he had done this to a 16-year-old. Now, Shay had never reported back then what had happened with Tanner because she was young and very afraid, and nobody that she told at first, besides very close friends, even believed her, so she didn't think that authorities would either. However, charges of SA, unrelated to Athena's murder, but following her death, were brought up against Tanner. At the time of his arrest, Tanner had also been engaged to a woman, and he had a child with her. This woman was also already aware of the allegations that had previously been made against him. Making this case even sadder, when the package that was delivered to Athena's father's home by FedEx was opened, it was found to have contained a Christmas present for the 7-year-old, a set of Barbies.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. My name is Maitland, and I'm the mommy of Athena Presley Monroe Strand. On November 30th, a FedEx delivery man drove onto Athena's father's property to deliver a package of what was supposed to be a Christmas present for our daughter. This is the package, and it's the first time I'm seeing it. The package is containing "You Can Be Anything" Barbies. Athena was robbed of the opportunity to grow up to be anything she wanted to be. And this present, ordered out of innocence and love, is one she will never receive. Athena's favorite holiday was Christmas, as it is for many children everywhere. The joy Athena gave her family and the joy she felt on Christmas is something we will never feel with her again. That delivery driver admitting to kidnapping and killing my innocent, free-spirited 7-year-old daughter on Friday, December 2nd. At the time of Athena's abduction, she was staying with her stepmother and father in Paradise, Texas, doing what kids do, playing within the bounds of her father's property on the same land he grew up and played on, the same land that for 20 or more years he, his siblings, and all of his friends had been safe. I was supposed to bring Athena back home to Oklahoma after Christmas break. Now instead, Athena will be cremated, and she will come home in an urn because I'm not anywhere close to being ready to let my baby go. I'm sorry. I will never see her bright blue eyes or her ornery smile again. I will never be able to hear her say, "I love you, Mommy." I will never be able to do her hair again or to hold her while she sleeps. I was robbed of watching her grow up by a man that everyone was supposed to be able to trust, to do just one simple task: deliver a Christmas present and leave. Tomorrow will be the last time I get to see my baby. After tomorrow, when the silence sets in, Athena's family, including her 3 young sisters, will start the journey of all of the first without her. Her little sister's 3rd birthday, then my 27th birthday, our Christmas Eve tradition, the first time in 7 years of not hearing and seeing the excitement of Athena opening gifts from Santa and Sissy. I ask everyone to hold your littles just a little tighter for me. I want everyone to know Athena. She was an amazing little girl who loved dancing, singing, and all animals: dogs, cats, horses, lizards, and chinchillas. She also loved school and all of her friends in the 1st grade, who are now also struggling with her senseless murder. Athena also loved flowers but she was also not afraid to get down in the mud with the boys. She was her father's daughter. I know that Athena's death will not be in vain. I will spend the rest of my life fighting for her so that no other family will endure such unbearable pain and grief. That a monster attempted to take Athena's voice, but we are her voice. Screening and hiring policies must be put into place so that monsters wearing delivery uniforms don't show up on our children's doorsteps. Please help keep Athena's light shining.
While Tanner's capital murder trial was originally expected to start this year, it has now been pushed back until April of 2026. Prosecutors have said that they intend on seeking the death penalty. Since her death, both Athena's mother, Maitland, and her father, Jacob, have filed wrongful death lawsuits against FedEx and Tanner's contractor, Big Topspin. On the night of December 6, 2022, a candlelight vigil was held in honor of the little girl, where many in attendance wore pink, Athena's favorite color. A few days later, a private funeral was held for Athena Strand on Friday, December 9, 2022. She was then cremated, and her mother brought her remains back to Oklahoma with her.
Her name is Athena Strand, and her name is everywhere, on billboards and t-shirts and school fences. Her favorite color is pink, and her favorite color is everywhere, on flags and ribbons and balloons and on bikes. Monday, hundreds of bikers got together for a ride to honor Athena, fundraise for her family.
The little girl. The innocent little girl.
Losing your child's got to be the worst thing in the world. So for that little girl to have that happen is just devastating.
The ride, 20 minutes. The route, Azle to Paradise Elementary, Athena's school. Little boys and girls watched bikes past their playground.
No reason, no rhyme, anything like this should ever happen.
I was so angry and mad at what happened to her. You know, I had a feeling she wouldn't go back home.
I think about this every day.
No ride, no amount of pink will ever bring Athena back home to her family, back to Paradise Elementary, to her friends who now mourn her loss. But the prayer is that the ride and the pink and the love might help this poor family heal.
I hope it touches their hearts. Sorry.
Well, thank you for listening to Athena's story today. What a sick and demented man Tanner is. Kidnapping and killing a 7-year-old little girl for his own sick, twisted pleasures. Because I'm sure that story he told authorities about accidentally backing into her and being afraid that she would tell her dad is complete and total bullshit. So, if you like true crime and you want to hear it from me, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. And turn on your notifications too, so you'll know when I upload a new video, which is at least 3 times every single week. Thanks for watching A Wicked World today. Until next time, take care guys. Bye. Thank you to all the patrons of A Wicked World. Now, there's even more of A Wicked World on Patreon. So check it out on patreon.com/awickedworld. Or use the Patreon app. You'll have access to exclusive videos each month and more. Any support truly helps to make sure the victims are never forgotten and to highlight the shortcomings of society associated with each case. Do you have a suggestion for a story you'd like to see me cover? If so, send me an email to awickedworldtruecrime@gmail.com.